If I had to explain how to generate $20,000 a month from trading in the simplest, most honest way possible, it would start with this. There is no version of this that works without respecting the math. Not discipline, not more effort, not intelligence, it's just math. And most people don't fail because they lack a strategy. They fail because they try to force an income number onto a system that structurally cannot support it. So before talking about setups, before talking about indicators or execution, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to solve the math first. So let's start by thinking of trading income like building a wall out of bricks. Each brick is a small, repeatable return. The wall gets taller only by stacking bricks, never by throwing bigger bricks harder. Most traders want to skip stacking and jump straight to the finished wall. They swing for oversized returns, they take excessive risk and hope one big move solves everything. And sometimes it works briefly, but eventually what happens is the wall collapses. You see, sustainable income is built one brick at a time, using bricks that don't crack under weight. Because once you accept that income is built brick by brick, the question stops being, how do I make more? And it becomes, how many bricks can this system actually support without collapsing? And that's when trading stops being about opinions and starts being about structure. And structure, whether people like it or not, is governed by math. And the math is very simple. Monthly income equals capital times realistic monthly return. That's it. You can't will that number higher. You can only change one of the two variables. From years of live execution, working with over 300 clients from all over the world and personally running multi-seven-figure accounts, a well-designed, risk-controlled trading system can sustainably produce around 3 to 5% per month over time. Not every month, not perfectly smooth, but it can do it without blowing up. Anything consistently higher almost always hides risk that shows up later. Doesn't mean it won't run for a couple of years. It might even last that long, but eventually something structural will crack. The first realization most traders need is that income is not a trading problem. It's actually a capital problem. So let's take a look at the capital that then is required so we can do the math even better. So shedding light on the reality of what it takes to generate a significant monthly income from trading, the dream of a consistent high trading income is often disconnected from the fundamental requirement of the capital, the engine that is going to drive those returns. So to consistently generate the $20,000 per month in trading income, your focus must immediately shift from what strategy must I use to how much capital do I need? And the answer is unforgivingly simple and depends entirely on your realistic, sustainable rate of return. So at that sustainable 3% monthly return, to pull that $20,000 from your account each month while only generating a modest and frankly ambitious 3% return, you would require a starting capital base of roughly $666,000. Now, this figure represents the absolute minimum principal needed to safely generate the target income without eating into that core capital, a practice that leads to eventual terminal decline. Now, let's just say we're getting an exceptional 5% monthly return. So if we can do that with an elite system that's capable of consistently hitting that 5% per month, a performance level that really only a fraction of professional traders or system can ever achieve over the long term, you would still need a capital base of roughly $400,000. Now, this lower capital requirement, of course, is going to come with more management, higher execution risk, and of course, psychological pressure, as even a minor drawdown can derail that monthly target. Now, this is the non-negotiable financial constraint that every full-time aspiring trader must confront. There is absolutely no strategy that bypasses this, no matter how complex the indicators, how perfect the entry and exit signals, or how exciting the asset. The mathematics of capital compounding and withdrawal, they're going to remain absolutely constant. So there is no system that makes this irrelevant. Hype surrounding unlimited leverage or prop firm trading or high frequency scalping often distracts from this core issue. These methods may temporarily inflate returns or provide access to capital, but the sustainable income generation still relies on the principle applied. So anyone claiming otherwise, like I said, is simply borrowing returns from the future, and they're chasing unrealistic monthly returns, like trying to generate $20,000 from a $50,000 account. And that's inevitably going to lead to excessive risk taking, over leverage, and ultimately a catastrophic account blow up. It is by definition gambling required to achieve an outcome that the math simply forbids. So the first and most crucial realization most traders need is that generating consistent, substantial income is not fundamentally a trading problem. Again, it's a capital problem. Until you have accumulated the required capital base To make the numbers work at a realistic and sustainable rate of return, your focus must remain on capital accumulation, not capital distribution. And this is where most people misunderstand the path. If you don't already have the required capital to generate that $20,000 a month, the solution is not to push the trading system harder. It's to grow the capital base first while keeping the risk controlled. And the way we do this is by separating growth from income. So instead of parking capital in something stagnant, what you can do is you can find an appreciating asset, something like Bitcoin or even gold as the underlying collateral. These are assets that over time have historically expanded in value rather than decayed. So once you've got that capital, on top of that, you run a volatility capturing system that generates monthly income without selling the underlying position. And I can actually show you how to do that if you book a call with one of my team. The trading logic is there to harvest movement and of course manage the risk. And then the asset itself does the heavy lifting on the capital growth. And basically, here's what this would look like in practice. So let's just say someone starts with $150,000. So we're going to put that capital into something like Bitcoin or gold while the trading system operates alongside it. So over a full market cycle, we could have a 2 to 3x expansion that could turn that into 300,000 or even 450,000 in total capital. So now that math changes. At that point, that 3% per month is $9,000 to $13,000, or that 5% per month is now $15,000 to $22,000 actually. That 5% per month is now anywhere between $15,000 to $22,000. So there you go, you've hit that $20,000 a month target. You did it without increasing risk, without changing systems, and without emotional execution. So the income appears not because the strategy changed, because the capital base did. And that's the difference between gambling for income and designing a system where income becomes possible once the math finally works. So once that capital is there, it's all about execution. That becomes everything. And at that point, the biggest risk is longer the market. It's the human interference. It's the hesitation, the overconfidence, second guessing, being asleep when trades are happening. And that's exactly where most people give back everything that they've already earned. And this is where an algorithm comes in. The job of an algorithm is not to predict the market or outsmart it. It's to do 4 very specific things relentlessly and without exception. It's to enforce predefined risk limits. It's to harvest volatility as it appears. It's to remove emotional decision making and stack small repeatable gains consistently over time. That's it. That's what the systems we run were designed to do, and why they're already being used by over 300 clients running real capital, including 6 and 7-figure accounts. And behind the system is my automation consulting team. And my team operates across the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia. And for more than 3 years, this has been our full-time focus, building, testing, and running algorithmic trading systems designed for capital preservation first and consistent monthly returns second. So if you want to see whether this approach actually makes sense for your capital, your timeline, and your expectations, you can book a call with one of my team just using the links in the description. This is no hype. There are no shortcuts, just a clear, honest look at whether a system designed for consistent monthly returns fits what you're trying to achieve.